Hey there, I'm Blarchar, and today I'll be showing you how I beat Pokemon Infinite Fusion using a team of only Fighting-type Pokemon fusions. If you just want to get to the run, go to the time shown on screen. If you're curious about what Infinite Fusion is, check out the description below or one of my past two videos, I explain more there. Before we begin, I want to sincerely thank everyone on the monumental growth you've given to the channel. I'm blown away by how you've helped me reach 1,000 subscribers, and it's made me so happy. You're all so awesome for giving me a chance, and I want to pay it back by continuing the content while trying to improve as I go. So without further ado, let's get into the fighting type only run. I start out by naming the rival Derek. I'm done trying to relate the rival's name to the type of the run I'm doing, so I'm just going to go with regular names. Unless, of course, I think of something really funny in a future run. I go for the last remaining starter I haven't chosen yet, Squirtle, and fight Derek's fused Charsaur. Again, it's a blowout and I steal his lunch money. There's some things different about this run that I'd like to show you. There's an option called Modern Mode, which changes up all the trainers and wild Pokemon in the game, giving a lot more variety than you would get from a normal playthrough. In the future, I might do Modern Mode more just to get more variety in the run, if not just outright randomizing wild Pokemon. I head up to Route 2 north of Viridian, where I find a Routes, which will eventually become a Gallade, a valid option for my fighting-type team. However, it'll have to be after I clear out Silphco, since Dawnstones are not available as far as I know until after I do that. I go over to Route 22 to fight Derek to unlock the Secret Garden on Route 1 for some more Pokemon. He's got a Shinx and an Eevee, which is a nice nod to Pokemon Yellow where he had an Eevee as his starter. I go down to the Secret Garden and find a Riolu fused with an Eevee, which is a perfect start to my team. I unfuse Riolu from the Eevee and fuse it with Routes to make a Riots. In Viridian Forest, I find a Shroomish, which is another Pokemon that will eventually evolve into a fighting type. Thankfully, I shouldn't have to wait until over halfway through the game to use this one. The Riots wasn't doing great, so I fused Riolu with a Zorua instead. I'll show you both fused forms just to see what they look like, but I decided to go with this one, since I like Zolu a little better. In this run, I tried to randomize the gym leader types, which worked for a little while, but the game started crashing later on when I tried to fight some trainers, so they will have their normal modern mode types, which I'll highlight when we get to them. I was able to randomize Brock's type, and it ended up being a ghost type, which is kinda dangerous for my fighting type team. Zolu has a super effective pursuit, however, so it's able to take out both of Brock's Pokemon. Inside Mount Moon, I'm able to find a Tyrogue fused with a Cleffa, which is another great addition to the team. While in Mount Moon, I come across Team Rocket trying to fuse 3 Pokemon together, and they send the Fossil Maniac that's normally here to fight me. And I just wanted to show you the cool Nosepass fusions he has. The Onix fusion is alright, but the Machop one looks like a Machop piloting a Nosepass mech, which is really cool. The Happiny fusion is alright too. I make it through Mount Moon and head to the PC to unfuse the Tyrogue. I've never used a Dunsparce before, so I decide to fuse it with Tyrogue, which actually makes a nice looking sprite. North of the Nugget Bridge, I fight Hiker Knob, who has an amazing Sunkern and Steelix fusion. This thing is just incredible looking. My Shroomish finally evolves, so I decide to fuse it with Joltik, which makes a nice looking Joloom, a bug and fighting type. I also caught another Tyrogue, since it can evolve into 3 different Pokemon, and fuse it with a Phanpy to make a Tippy. In the route west of Cerulean, I find a Heracross fused with Nincada, which is yet another fighting type I can add to the team. I also caught a third Tyrogue and fuse it with a Cleffa to make a Clefrogue. While fighting trainers north of Cerulean on the way to Bill's house, the Tyrogue and my Dunsparce fusion evolves, making a great looking Dunley. My Clefrogue also evolves its Cleffa half, and it doesn't change much. I finally find a Bondslide to fuse my Heracross with, and it makes a very sad looking Bondcross. While in Misty's gym fighting the trainers, TP evolves into Hitmonpee, which I'm really not a fan of. Misty's gym turns out to be Psychic type, which is pretty much the worst type it could have been for me. Thankfully, Zolu, disguised as Joloom, is able to wipe the gym due to me being a little overleveled on accident. After leaving Cerulean, I'm able to find a Mankey north of Vermilion, which I catch. My Bondcross evolves into Pseudocross, which looks really neat. I go back to the PC and unfuse the Hitmonpee, then fuse my Mankey with Wartortle instead, making a Warkey. I tried to evolve the Tyrogue Clefairy fusion into Hitmonchan, but the stats weren't working out, so I fused Tyrogue with a Pyukumuku instead in order to guarantee the defense will be higher than attack and get a Pyukuchan entirely for the purpose of unfusing it right after. I fused the Hitmonchan with Kadabra to make a decent mixed attacking Katachan. Zolu eventually evolves into Zowario, and unluckily it's not a custom fusion sprite, so I unfuse them and fuse Lucario with a Clefairy instead, which has an interesting galaxy theme going on. I take on Derek on the SSN, and he leads with a Cottonee Luxio fusion, an Incada Poniard, a Solosis Eevee, and a weird Slugma Feebas. I'm able to deal with him easily and grab my Cut HM. Lieutenant Surge's gym is where things started going wrong with the randomizer settings. It seems only specific trainers crash the game while random trainer settings are enabled, and some of those trainers are the gym leaders themselves, so I'll never be able to fight certain randomized gym leaders. It seems this version of the game has a lot of known randomizer problems, so I'm just going to have to fight the modern mode gym leaders from now on. Lieutenant Surge is a fighting type gym leader in modern mode, and he leads with a Nosepass Mankey fusion who sets up stealth rocks. Thankfully, my Warkey has rapid spin. I take out Nosekey, and Surge sends out an awesome looking Houndoom Gallade fusion. He gets scared though and switches to a Fletch Chop, which gets one shot by a Cross Chop. Houndlade comes back out and also goes down to one Cross Chop. After the battle, the Mankey in my Warkey evolves, and I get a Warape out of it. I like it. It's oddly cute for a Primate fusion. I decide to evolve the Clefairy half of my Lucafairy, and it evolves into a crazy looking Lucafable. This honestly makes me want to do a run entirely of Clefable fusions, which would be nice, since Clefable is one of only 4 Pokemon who have a custom fusion sprite with every single other Pokemon. I move on through Rock Tunnel to Lavender Town and fight Derek in the Pokemon Tower. He's got a nice new Agson, a cute Duovi, and a cool Litwick Sneasel fusion. After beating him, I head over to Celadon City. I fuse my other Hitmonlee with a Mimikyu to make a Hitmoncue, but decide to reverse the fusion to make Mimily, which I like a little bit better. I meet up with Erika to take out Team Rocket in the sewers yet again. After a battle with this cool Mawile Whimsicott, my Warape evolves into its final form, Blastape. Joloom also evolves into Galvanloom, which is pretty nice itself. We make it to Giovanni and I take him on. He's got a menacing looking Haunch Sing, which is super tanky with its ambiguous typing. He also has a funky Kecleon Rhyperior and a really creative Smeargar. To be honest, most Smeargle fusions are really creative. He also has an anime reference in that he has a Persian fused with a Zoroark, which looks absolutely sinister. I grab my Silph Scope and head on out. I move straight on to Erika's gym, and I just wanted to show you one of the gym trainer's Pokemon, this Beedrill Porygon fusion, which is basically a Minecraft bee, which I always thought were really cute. Erika's gym in modern mode is Bug-type, which is fitting. Erika's team consists of a fiery Typhlosion Scyther fusion, a creepy Galvantula Kangaskhan, and a cute Butterfree Mismagius fusion. She's pretty easy to beat with Pseudocross's Rock Slide, however. While back in the Pokemon Tower, Katachan evolves into Alichan, which looks like it's holding a jump rope, which is kinda interesting. I also wanted to show this fusion I found on a trainer on the Cycling Road, a Shelder Curlia fusion called Shellia, and it's really cute. I make it to Fuchsia City and get into Koga's gym, which is Dark-type in modern mode. He has an Umterra, a Reowark, a Weaflame, and a Haunchwar, all of which look really cool. I take out Koga and move on. I've caught and trained up a Poliwag into a Poliwrath, which I try fusing with Solosis, which doesn't look that great. A trainer on the route east to Celadon has this really cute Igglyterra that I just wanted to show you real quick. I clear out the fighting gym in Saffron City and pick up a Hitmontop since I already have the other 2 Hitmon Pokemon. I decide to fuse it with a Forretress, which just makes sense in my head. Afterwards, I make my way through Silphco and fight Derek at the top. He's evolved his Eevee fusion into Ryupion, which looks really nice. His Feebas has also evolved, and the Magcargo Milotic he has works really well. We move on to Giovanni together and take out his Primarino, Ryrus, Genkan, and Sandqueen. It's kind of weird that his modern mode team isn't changed from Infinite Fusion's normal mode. In any case, since I've pushed Team Rocket out of Saffron, I can finally take the train to Goldenrod City and buy a Dawnstone in order to evolve my Curlia into Gallade. I decide to fuse it with a Glaceon I have to make a Glaylade, which looks pretty cool. Get it? Sorry. I also caught a Machop, which is pretty rare in Rock Tunnel in modern mode, and fused Machoke with a Snorlax to make Malax. Yeah, I'm not really a fan. This seems like fetish bait. I reversed the fusion and Snorchoke is a lot better. It evolves shortly after into Snorchamp, and I like the striped shorts. I move on to Sabrina and her gym, and she uses Fairy-type fusions in modern mode. I forgot to fully record the winning fight, so I'll just show you what she's got. An adorable Sylvelosion, a creepy cute Marowak, a Drifrill, which I really have no reaction to, and a phenomenal looking Cleflix. Like I said, all the Clefable fusions are amazing. Anyway, I beat her and move on to Cinnabar Island. Check out my Dragon-type video for an explanation about the Team Rocket plot taking place here. I'm just gonna skip to Giovanni's fused Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. Galvantloom and Blastape are able to take out the Articuno part of the fusion. Pseudocross one-shots the Moltres part with a strong Stone Edge and gets Zapdos to half HP with Double Edge, while I use a revive on Lucafable, which takes out Zapdos with a couple draining kisses. The birds unfuse, and I'm free to continue my Pokemon League journey. I grab Blaine from the mansion on Cinnabar and challenge him in his gym. He has Psychic-type Pokemon in modern mode, and he leads with a Clinkferig. I always forget that the Klinklang line is in this game. Anyway, he also has an Allosaur, Xano, and a Togeniclus, which falls in 2 quick Shadow Claws from Mimily. Afterwards, I head to Viridian City to take on Giovanni once and for all. I tested the trainer randomization again, and turns out Giovanni doesn't crash the game when I fight him, so the first gym type I haven't fought yet turns out to be Water type. He has a Mangong, a Flydos, which is pretty good looking honestly, a Quillwhirl, a Munchler, and a Quilsion. I didn't know Giovanni was such a big Quillfish fan. He goes down in one fight and I move on to the Pokemon League where I fight Derek once more before Victory Road. He's got a nice looking Framance, his usual Whimsray, a fully evolved adorable but creepy Reuniclus Sylveon, the usual Magtic, a ninja-like Lampvile, and his usual boring Ninyard. After that I move on to Victory Road. This time around, however, I'm going to show you something cool. Entei is just sitting here, where I'm pretty sure Moltres was in the original Red and Blue games. I catch it with a Master Ball, but you're going to have to wait until after the run is finished to see any fusions with it. After Victory Road, I stock up on healing items at the Pokemon League and check if I can randomize the Elite Four. Unfortunately, Lorelei crashes the game when randomized, which means I'll just have to run through the Elite Four with their modern mode teams. Lorelei's modern mode water type team starts off with Paulilion to set up some really annoying rain. Pseudocross's Hammer Arm almost one-shots, but Paulilion's Bubble Beam one-shots me. I send in Mimily to one-shot with High Jump Kick. She sends in Kingdrio, and I deal decent damage with Shadow Claw, but Drill Peck takes me out. I send in Blastape, who miraculously survives Drill Peck with 2 HP left and takes out Kingdrio with close combat. Lorelei sends out Swamray, who takes a stomping tantrum easily, then knocks me out with Wild Charge. Galvantloom comes in to almost take it out with Seed Bomb, but takes a strong Waterfall to get knocked out in one hit as well. Luckily, my Effect Spore takes effect and poisons Swamray, taking it down. I send in Alichan, and Lorelei sends out Gyaraku, which unfortunately doesn't have a custom sprite. It's weird that they went with this choice. A strong Psychic takes it out with no problem. She sends out Spearmiku, which scares me with how defensive it is. It takes me out with a Shadow Ball, and I send in my last remaining Pokemon, Snorchamp. I don't want to lose, so I go with some revive spamming strategies on my Alichan. Spearmiku Toxic Poisons Snorchamp, and I test out some moves to see how much damage I do. I rest to get rid of the poison, and then finally realize it's a dark type, not a ghost type, and so Cross Chop takes it out for good. Lorelei's final Pokemon is a freaking Milotina, making me realize I should have taken the Entei into the Elite Four if I knew they were going to use their own legendary fusions. It takes me out with a couple Aura Spheres, then I send in Alichan. I revive Mimily to abuse its disguise mechanic. Alichan survives a Hydro Pump, so I max potion him and Milotina misses its next Hydro Pump. I get it low with 2 Psychics, and it uses an Aura Sphere for some reason, letting me survive and finishing it off with a Psychic. 1 Elite Four member down. On to Bruno, who uses Rock-type Pokemon now. He leads with Tyrant Flame, and I lead with Pseudocross again. 1 Stone Edge from Pseudocross takes it out after it sets up Sandstorm and Stealth Rock. Meroyor comes out next, and we trade Hammer Arms. Pseudocross falls, and Blastape comes in to Rapid Spin away the Stealth Rock while Bruno heals. Bruno uses a full restore for somewhere around 5 HP for some reason, while I get off an almost one-shot Aqua Tail. Bruno smartly switches out to a Cray Ray to absorb my Aqua Tail with Storm Drain. He doesn't get to use it though because one close combat takes it out and he sends in Probodon, a Groudon fusion. Close combat takes it out in 2 turns, while a Fire Blast takes me low. Armatops comes out, proving why Kabutops and Armaldo are cooler than Omastar and Credilli. It goes down in 1 close combat too, and Marorior comes back out, which falls to a stomping tantrum. Octostar comes out, and this thing just creeps me out. It knocks me out with an Ancient Power, but Galvanloom comes back in to clean it up with a Seed Bomb. 2 Elite Four members down. Agatha uses Poison Pokemon in Modern Mode, and she leads with the Clefairy, which is really cute looking. I lead Alachan, who takes it out with a few Psychics through Agatha's Full Restores. In comes Kroros, who goes down to 1 Psychic. Duskplume comes out next and it looks menacing. 2 Shadow Balls almost take it out while a Peludance takes out Alachan. I send in Blastape for some reason and take it out with a Stomping Tantrum. She sends out Chandabach, and a couple Aquatails take it down. Umzing is next and 2 close combats are able to take it out as well. Agatha's last Pokemon is Muo, a Muck and Ho-Oh fusion. Aquatail takes a chunk, but Blastape falls quickly. I send in Pseudocross to resist poison and fire, and a Stone Edge takes it down. 3 Elite Four members done with. Yet again, Agatha is the easiest one so far. On to Lance, who has Flying-type Pokemon in Modern Mode. He has a Togaflame, and I lead Pseudocross. I try to get a Stone Edge off, but I flinch at Aura Sphere and fall to Air Slash. I send in Alacham to spam Ice Punches, while Togaflame gets healed over and over. Togaflame could have killed with Air Slash, but decides to go for Aura Sphere, letting me survive and knock it out. Lance sends in Chandamori, who falls to a few Shadow Balls as it misses its only Fire Blast. A goofy-looking Skepdactyl comes in and outspeeds me to knock out Alachan. In comes Mimily, who flinches to an Iron Head and is then knocked out by a Power-Herbed Sky Attack. I send in Blastape, who only gets off a weak close combat before being knocked out by Sky Attack as well. Galvanloom survives on 5 HP, trading Iron Tails with Skepdactyl, knocking it out. Lance sends in Zubat, which knocks out my Galvanloom. Snorchamp is my last Pokemon, so I revive my Alacham. Crosschop almost takes out Zubat before I have to send in Alachan. Psychic takes it out, and out comes the awesome Darknight, a Darkrai fusion. I revive Mimily, and Darknight luckily misses its Blizzard. Alachan goes for Ice Punch, which, with Darknight's Life Orb recoil, lets me take it down in 2 turns. Lance's last Pokemon is Agemets, which is really intimidating. No intimidate ability, pun intended. Outrage takes out Alachan, and I send in Mimily. I revive Alachan while Agemets outrages. Blaze Kick takes it out in 1 more hit, so now I only have the champion Derek to take care of. Derek leads with his fully evolved Ninjask Bisharp, and I lead with Mimily. I get flinched by Iron Head as my disguise is taken out, and my Blaze Kick next turn takes it out in 1 hit. Reunion comes out, who also almost falls to 1 Shadow Claw before taking me out with Moonblast. I send in Alachan to get some Shadow Balls off, but Reunion is a lot more specially tanky, so it takes only about 1/3 of its HP. After it knocks me out with another Moonblast, I send in Snorchamp, who tries to whittle it down with Crunches and Cross Chops, only to be taken out itself. Galvanloom takes out half its HP with X-Scissor, but yet again Moonblast one-shots it. This Reunion is really powerful. Pseudocross tries a Mega Horn, but is one-shot by a Psychic. Blastape is last to come in, and I have to resort to some dirty, cheaty tactics. I revive Snorchamp, then Galvanloom. Then I realize I can abuse Mimily's disguise being restored every time it's revived, to get a free turn off every revive. I weave in a move against Derek's Pokemon every turn while trying to keep at least 2 Pokemon conscious. Mimily is able to take down Reunion with another Shadow Claw, and in comes Haxments. Play Rough deals respectable damage, and I go through another revive cycle. Back to Mimily, Play Rough misses, and I have to go through another revive cycle. This time, Play Rough almost takes out Haxments, but Derek switches to Chandevile. Another revive cycle, but Snorchamp is able to live because Chandevile uses Trick a lot of times to try and burn me. I use Rest, and my Chesto Berry wakes me up immediately while I knock out with Crunch. Derek sends in a really cool unique fusion, a triple fusion of Torterra, Infernape, and Empoleon that counts as a fire, grass, and water type all at once. Snorchamp is taken out by a close combat, while Mimily comes in and finishes it off with a high jump kick. Haxments comes back out and is taken out by Shadow Claw. Derek reveals that he's a dirty cheater too, as he sends out a freaking Luxray and Arceus fusion. How is that fair? Another revive cycle and I'm able to use high jump kick to finish him off. I guess it's fair enough. In any case, this has been the hardest monotype run so far. Again, I'll show you some extra fusions as I talk for the last couple minutes. I mentioned in my electric video that I was so thankful for the 100 subscribers, but you've gone and done more than 10 times that. At the time I'm recording this, I have about 1,080 subscribers, which is just insane to me. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep doing this as long as I can. For future episodes, I want to set some guidelines for myself so I don't have to deal with technical difficulties again. I think I'm just going to randomize wild Pokemon so that way I can get as many unique fusions to show as possible. I'll also randomize the starters, so at least the Rivals Fuse starter will be unique each run. I'm probably going to use the modern mode gym leaders since everybody's seen their normal types and it could be fun. If they update the game in the future to fix the crashing problems, then I'm definitely going back to randomized trainers though. The next run I do will be Ghost type, since that's the one I've seen the most of requested in the comments. I would post a poll with all 14 remaining types for the next one, but I can only put up to 5 options in a YouTube poll unfortunately. I guess I'll just sift through the comments and find which types have been requested the most and post a poll for that in about a week. Every type will be done eventually, it's just which ones will be done first that you guys help me decide. Well, I'm off to take a rest. Editing takes a lot out of me. I'll start the Ghost type run soon. I may even start streaming it here on YouTube at some point. I've streamed before on Twitch, but maybe I'll do better on here. I'll let everyone know if that ever happens. Have a nice one.